Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of If You Can't Handle the Heat. A little bit of good news, a little bit of not so good news. We shot this episode in this past summer here in July, and for some reason Troy's audio got really corrupted and really messed up. Now, after playing with it for multiple hours, I was able to get it to a point where it's pretty understandable at times. I apologize if it's not as understandable as we want it to be, but I didn't want to delete the episode because there's a lot of really good things being said in there, but that was just more of a heads up. Also, we have a huge sale going on starting today, the 16th of October, until Friday, the 18th of October. 20% off of everything in our shop. But now, let's get to the episode.
You can handle the heat. Yeah. You can handle the heat. Yeah. Out of system, you can handle the heat.
Booyaka Shah, welcome back to another episode of Can't Handle the Heat. It's your boy G Swizz. Before we get into it here, before I unveil my two lovely guests I have with me, I want to give a quick shout out to Volley Hawaii for letting us use their beautiful facility. If you are in town and you are looking for anywhere to rent out, get private lessons, host lessons, there's no better place than Volley Hawaii. With a link in the bio for any more information. But without further ado, let's get into it. We have two wonderful guests with me, none other than Bad Boy Troy Field and, of course, the Keoni. Boys, thanks so much for hopping on the pod.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Absolutely.
You guys met each other before this?
Nope.
No, huge fan of Keoni. I watched him this past year at UH, and yeah, it's fun to watch somebody fly, crush the ball, and yeah, very impressed. Excited to see, excited to watch you at BYU.
And I watch this guy before every beach tournament.
No way. Do you actually?
Bro, definitely. Because sometimes you have to lock into beach tournaments and get beachy.
What specifically do you watch about him? Highlights. Bouncing highlights?
I will watch, because in Hawaii, there's not a lot of tall guys, so sometimes I'll be a blocker a lot, surprisingly. So I'll watch him for the blocks, for the blocking vids. And then defense, I'll go somewhere else.
Who do you look at? Who do you look at for defense then?
Probably Taylor.
Got you. Yeah. So, indoor and outdoor, opposite sports right now. You're in your season and you're in your off season. Before we get to that, how does the new AVP, like the AVP championships, how does it work? How's the format new?
This new AVP league.
Yeah.
So we have 3 tournaments. They're calling them their Heritage Series. That's Huntington, Manhattan, and Chicago. And your best 2 finishes from those 3 events, if you place in the top 8 at the end, top 6, because they have 2 wild cards. Top 6, you'll make this league, and that'll be 8 men's teams, 8 women's teams. You get drafted by a city. So there will be 8 stops, 8 events in the fall. We are only contracted to play 4. If you make the league, you play half of them, but you are playing alongside a women's team. So say Tim and I, if we make the league, we get Kristen and Taryn. Then their success is also dependent on our success. Our success is dependent on theirs. So it'll kind of go there, and then there will be a championships team or championships at the end of the year. So depending on how your team does, they'll have some sort of championship at the end.
What are they trying to accomplish with that?
So the owner, one of the 2 heads of AVP, they did this sort of kind of league thing for professional bull riding, PBI, and it seemed to work at destination. So we'll get drafted to, say, Atlanta. We don't have to live in Atlanta. We just represent them. So Atlanta can host a tournament where the home team, we get to play. And then if we play in New York, we're the away. If you're kind of in that city, my guess is that they start me doing clinics and they start to try to grow the community where, I'd be working with different clubs in Atlanta. Atlanta's not even stopped. That's just an example. And so we kind of grow the community there. Volleyball, Atlanta. Residents come out, they can have a team just to cheer for.
Which is smart. People would just cheer from where they're from.
Is there a team from Hawaii ever? Everything's going to happen?
There was potentially a Hawaii stop, but right now it's kind of where the money's at and what city really wants to have us in. But I know for sure one of them is we get to play in the Honda Center where we don't play.
I'll tell you. But Anaheim, right?
Anaheim for one of the stops. So they're really trying to make it into more stadiums, better viewing experience, and just kind of 2 matches. So you just fly out on the weekend, maybe play 2 matches, and then you're done versus a whole tournament. So it'll be every weekend there's AVP, and then this league is in the fall. Next year, it'll actually go throughout the whole summer. So the league starts. So you will get actually drafted. So a city will kind of like, okay, we really want the Taylors, and depending on how much they go for, I don't really know the process on how that would happen, but then you'd also get
Probably have to buy you guys.
Yeah. So
Because if 2 cities, whatever, want you.
yeah, I mean, there has to be something. So once this league comes out in the fall, we'll have a better idea on it, but that's sort of it right now for tournaments, 4 out of 8. But right now it's all eyes on Manhattan to try to make this league. We got a 3rd in Huntington, so we kind of have we're sitting nice, but nothing's guaranteed. So after Manhattan, if we get a good place, I would say a 7th or a 5th. And then we'd be.
Then you're gonna be drafted.
We'll see where I get to represent that.
That's sick, though. I hope that works out. That
You're
new
gonna play
league.
beach, Keoni? Could you play a lot of beach like at like Queens, play a lot of local, you used to play
Yeah,
one now.
and I think like my kit is more tailored towards the beach as a defender. So I would definitely love to do that in the future, but we'll see. This year's a big year, my last year of college, so I'll see what film and what agents I can talk to.
And you want to go over play indoor.
Yeah, but going for a really long time doesn't excite me. But obviously it depends if I can get like a building contract where you get more throughout the years or something like that. But going for a long time isn't like the top of my list right now. I'd like to go play beach after.
It's such a drastic lifestyle. Like you guys for dude, beach and indoor, because indoor is, it's just chaos. Like I mean, sometimes you don't get paid. Like you can get but when you get a paycheck, but it's unstable in terms of like where you're gonna play the next year and everything. For you guys, you don't know when your next paycheck is at times. It's crazy unstable for you guys. So such different.
Definitely winter go home. Like we were talking about, there was times where I needed some extra cash before I was on the place. Yeah. Like there was some. But beach volleyball, I mean, you have to be really self-disciplined. I think that thing that a lot of admit players, everything's like set. They tell you where to go. Beach, it's not like you got to set up your own training schedule. It's not very difficult, but everything's on your own. You can be as good as you want. Be as laxy.
Which I kind of like.
I think that you thrive in that situation.
I like that about the beach.
I mean, you'd be phenomenal. Having you hitting in transition, your athleticism, and also we were talking before the podcast, just who you're playing against. You're playing against giants, and guys aren't that big, and so you get a one. Yeah, I take that.
It's a new partnership pairing up right here, maybe.
In 2028 LA Olympics.
That'd be sick. So I know, Keoni, we talked about, I'm not familiar about your training as much as in terms of lifting. For those of you who watch you guys people know you have insane verticals. How much is that, one, you were born with, and Keoni, you go first for this one, and Troy, how much of that, one, you were born with, and then two, you're lifting? Because I'm sure like people come up to you like, what do I do to get a better what do I do? You probably get it like 1,000 times, and you're like, well, but I'm gonna let you answer this.
For me, I was super skinny, super twiggy, but I think genetic wise, if I were to be completely honest, I had more fast twitch muscle. Like I didn't have any muscle at the time, but I genetically have fast twitch muscle. So my biggest sprout in my vert happened to when I finally just started getting strong. Like I grinded the basics, and I just the heavier my squat got, the higher my vert pretty much ended up getting, because I think that's where my fast twitch muscle kind of came in. So it's like now I have to do plyos because I have to focus more on like balancing it and getting it even. But for my first couple of years, it was just getting strong. That was pretty much it.
So so if someone says, I need to jump really, really high, really fast. But you were naturally born a jumper though, yeah?
What was it before you kind of in the gym working then? Do you think you were 20?
And then now?
43.
Do you think anyone can get 43 though?
It depends because
If they
like
train, if they took over your regimen, or how much of it? How much do you think? And Troy, how much is it genetic and how much is it training?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of it's God given. I would love to say that, yeah, you have, some way to measure it where it's like, okay, I did this for you. So you will see that if you're working hard, you're jumping a lot, you are getting strong. You are going to see some improvement, but you definitely start a lot of it's genetics. Like if you have some sort of bounce,
even form, like if you're coordinated and you have good form in your jump, you just jump higher.
What do you mean like form? What does it mean?
I don't know how to explain it, but like if you're coordinated, you'll jump a little higher regardless because you get your arms going and your feet and your footwork is usually better. That always helps too. But yeah, because like some people just naturally have good form because they're just coordinated. Their jump is usually starts off better at least.
but what you saying is technique. I mean, if you're out there and you want a quick fix to your vertical, I think you and I could both look at somebody jump and add inches to their vertical just by watching them form. You engaging your arms, where you kind of like launching it. Well, there's so many different things that tie into it, but like you said, if you can get that before somebody teaches you, then psychologically, form. A lot of people don't think about proper technique to really maximize your body.
Were you always a big jumper?
It wasn't necessarily. I mean, I wasn't really tall. I kind of had a late growth spurt, and I didn't play sports that was geared towards a taller player. By freshman year of high school, I was like 5'7", 5'8", 9. And then I was playing football, and I was a wide receiver. But again, I wasn't really tall until later in high school. Probably like my junior year, I could dunk, and I was just naturally getting taller. And then when I came out and discovered beach and early years of college, then I started doing a bunch of I was working out in the same and really trying to just strengthen your legs for the endurance of beach volleyball, because it is a marathon. You got some days you play like 18 sets a day. It's crazy. And I always was, I'm going to jump 100%. And that's kind of been an Achilles heel of mine, a weakness, where you learn to jump to the set, right? If the lower set, I would jump and I would my head would fly past the ball. And I'm like, dang it. And so I just always gave 110%, but then my body had to be ready for that. So,
but that's honestly super good, because when you're strength training and then you go to practice, because I was the same way. I was always just, because I started club late, there's always just jump as high as you can. Like the technique or whatever comes second. And honestly, that helped with the jumping, because that honestly kind of worked as the plyos to an extent. Like we're getting strong and then we're jumping as hard as I can. So it's like if you want to jump higher, you get stronger and you jump. So it's like we're just jumping as hard as you can all the time. It adds up for sure.
But I feel like also, but when did you learn that? Like in beach, you kind of have to like. Also in beach, dude, you never see anyone out of shape. It's unbelievable. Like you go down. You don't
really have that luxury,
dude. Everyone's in incredible shape. It's so freaking hard in terms of like.
Yeah, I mean, even the amateur players, they still have endurance. Yeah, they're not. Maybe they don't look exactly like the pros, but you get these, these volley lifers that just play all day and they can just go and go, but they know their speed, right? If they're going to go, it maybe look slow to us, but they could go, 20, say, but just we're 9. Whereas we're going, 110, but, and
then fizzle out.
Yeah, exactly. So the tank on a lot of these beach volleyball players is pretty special, but boy, it would be fun just to have one.
But dude, that one match, dude, sometimes like is because a match could be as long as, how gassed, I'm not going to talk about libero, how I feel after a match, but
it's still, come on. Mentally?
No, 100% mentally, and I'm charged with energy a lot of the time, and like there's sometimes like after, the thing is we have 8-9 month seasons, so like by a month, like 4, even 4 to 5, you're feeling it. Like and I know it's different in college, it's like 4 months, but still after that, like, when you go into the playoffs, dude, it's just survival of the fittest, really, at the end of the day. It's more longevity than it is like quick bursts. So I think beach, how long is your season for beach? Like technically it's like 3 months around there.
If you're playing the World Tour, you're almost like February to November.
But it's also the what's it called, the surface. I mean, how do you feel after a match, after playing beach? I mean, all day beach versus all day indoor.
Well, I've never done all day indoor. It would
Or
hurt too much.
one intense match indoor versus all day beach.
Are they close?
I would feel better on the beach.
Impact wise.
Yeah. Just in terms of like knees and mainly just like knees, joints, your ankles and stuff. But I think you use more of your muscles on beach. But for me, I've lifted so hard for so long that like, for me, that's never been an issue. But like people who like, I don't like being sore, like beach would definitely be way harder. And then people who just have like knee, like joint problems, I think indoor would be worse. But for me, beach is better because muscle soreness has never like in my brain just like bothered me. So it's like you're more sore after beach, I'd say. But like your joints and stuff hurt more after indoor.
And what about your shoulder after? How's your shoulder versus beach versus indoor? Because beach, do you shoot more or you still, blast?
Oh,
and
you're
munch?
shooting more on beach, but I think a lot of guys hurt their shoulders diving on beach a lot because it's like a full extension more. But I mean, you're at the D1 level, you are just trying to high-yaw everything indoor. So it's like more shoulder problems probably happen indoor. Beach is more of a chest game. And you have to use your brain a little more on beach, unfortunately. For me, no like that.
Yeah. How's your shoulder now?
First summer ever, I've actually had some shoulder issues.
Wake up to it or like what happened?
No, I just think that I'm not reaching unk status, but I can't just max bench press, and then go fast twitch muscle swing volleyballs anymore.
So like, how do you pivot that? Now everything you've known, you got to pivot. How is that?
I know, which is kind of tough because my go-to has always been like volleyball training throughout the year, and then summer I can just live like a bodybuilder, like get strong. Like I will get a little worse at volleyball, but then like when I come back into like the gym and my strength trainers work with us, like kind of give them like some good things to chip away at. Because I like coming into this school, the strength trainers, with like just strength. Like, I don't know, I guess a good analogy is like giving a sculptor like some good stone.
Ooh, that's good. That's deep.
I may not be like a good volleyball player right now, but I want to give you like something to work with. So that's why I like to just mainly focus on strength in the summer and less volleyball. But it's getting to the point where I've been playing volleyball so much that a lot of strength training is a little contradictory, like bench press.
How much you benching?
Now, probably not that much, but
How much?
What was that, Matt? What was that?
my all-time prime was not last summer, my sophomore year of UH summer. I hit 315 somehow on the bench.
What about you, Troy?
I couldn't even tell you the last time I maxed like anything. Came to the gym.
Because, yeah, at some point, benching and then swinging, it hurts. So that's where I'm at. So
Believe it or not.
I'm not benching that much this summer, unfortunately.
But I mean, I've been getting more in gym this past year and finding something that we think lifting super heavy. There's been people that don't like that. I know Jake Gibbs, he was somebody who liked lifting heavy. And so I worked with my trainer, shout out Training Matrix, and just finding something that works for me. Something that got me excited in the gym was lifting. Like I wanted to see that, we call them meet. I wanted to see something, and he gave me the incentive to go to the gym and all these like little fast strength. Yeah, we do all those workouts, and those are very important. But it just never incentivized me to get. I was just like, so we were able to create a workout plan where it is a little bit heavier
Little
on
meathead
the
action.
little meathead,
You need some.
which I think is super fun because it gets that competitive juice flowing when you're just like come on, you do this, and versus being in the USA gym and I'm doing like the thing, I'm doing new workouts because I didn't have the collegiate like training program maybe you guys go through. So back when I all I knew like football, and football's like all me. But
But at the same time, some of those football guys are freak athletes because they're lifting heavy and they're just so strong. Their verts are like 45.
But it's also hard on your joints, so they're not jumping as much.
Yeah, true.
Like how are your knees after you're like 250?
Because like I used to be able to just jump up and be fine, but not anymore. Gotta warm up and stuff.
I think kind of circling back to the beach and these amateurs, the longevity of some of these tournaments, you don't really do a proper warm up and kind of go through like, okay, my game's at 10 a.m. Let me get there at this time, maybe 9, and go through my warm up and get my whole body warm. Because it happens, I have a game at 10, then pool play. So then I play again at 11 because I'm that 1 seed, and I sit for 2 hours and just get cold. And then I have another game. And I don't think the amateur is re-warming up again. And so you do get sore, but it's just like, my body hurts. It's like, yeah, it does, because it's your marathon. Imagine running 10 miles and then sitting down. And then, hey, you got to run 10 miles again. It's gnarly. So it is a challenge and something you have to be wise as, I'm 30 now. And so even now I'm like getting out of the chair and things are aching. But all I've done now as I'm getting older is I'm doing everything people were telling me to do like 5 years ago. But now it's like, I have to be diligent. I have to warm up. Like even today at Queens Beach, like, hey, you want to play? And I'm like, do I go back and get my bands? Like, what do I do here? I'm like, I guess I'm not wearing like the right sunglasses. It's just like funny little things that you think about as you are getting older. And beach volleyball is just, it can be smooth, but you have to bring the power to
Definitely
do.
not be smooth.
Yeah.
Beach
Yeah.
tournaments are chaotic.
But the gym helps so much. Just strengthening, like kind of like beach volleyball and indoors, very fast, just fast twitch muscles. So you're kind of just thinking like the rubber band. And in the gym, it's like really strengthening, elongating, so they can that. They're only fast twitching when you have that pulling. You get that and things are pulling because you really get it long time. So that's one thing that I'm learning now, and it's tough because you don't want to do that unless you have. Like, why would I warm up? Why would I do this? Nothing hurts, and then all of a sudden, something will hurt, and you're gonna have to do it. So listen to your body.
Luckily for me, I just got obsessed with lifting. So even though I just liked being a meathead, so it's like I think I probably had the least this ankle that in the summer, and it was like pretty minor. I was pretty much good. That was like the only volleyball injury I've like ever had.
And how do you get that, by the way? I was this.
It's insane, dude. It is so
I had
insane.
somehow it was like our first day back for the summer. We were playing 6-on-6 open gym, and the set was a little inside, and it's a middle's job to cover the outside, obviously. So my middle came under to cover me, and normally this story would end up with me landing on his ankles or his foot or something.
No, it would end up a normal human
Something
would
like
maybe
that.
land.
But I actually ended up landing on his shoulder, right on top of his shoulders, and I was like so high I was high in the air hitting the ball, and then I lost my aerial awareness. I was like, "Case, I'm not landing right." Because I was on his shoulder, I was like, "This doesn't feel normal," and I basically fell off his shoulder and like landed on it this way, but I'm all
So how do you prevent that from happening?
I don't know.
I would say that's a good problem.
Yeah, I guess it's a pretty good problem. But I've never had a volleyball injury like ever, and it's because like I lift. Like if you lift and you have muscle, you're gonna get injured less. Honestly, that's kind of basically just how it goes. Like a lot of volleyball guys are just kind of skinny, unfortunately.
But they're skinny strong. Like you go international,
know,
dude, they're
I
skinny
just, like-
strong, bro.
I just like some strong volleyball. Like you can get away being a really good volleyball player and like barely lifting if you're like that good. But like I don't know, it's just not my forte.
You're right. True. Yeah, I mean, like, so, but like coming back from, because I had ankle injuries too. I don't know if you've had those, but like that's just like tedious, like so much tedious. It's so like because it's sore, and then
Never. Whole
That's I could have said the same thing, but as of 2 months ago.
it's not like you can just like go. Like rehab is like, especially with the ankle, dude. Like the mobility is all mobility, all.
So my healing process was way longer than it should have been because I couldn't tell what was like, oh, that's uncomfortable. Like, it's going to get better compared to just it hurts. So I'm like, oh, a lot of the time, like, oh, like, all right, it should be healing. Like, but no, I was just hurting it more. I was like, oh, whoops.
Also, stretching it helps a lot, but it can be so painful. Stretching it, like, whenever it's ready to get stretched, because I was like doing rehab, it was good, but then, you know, when it gets cold, it's like keeping it stretched and keeping it. It was.
But is there a window when you want to stretch an ankle when you don't?
Good question.
That's
Like
what
if you
I
roll
don't
your
know.
ankle,
I
do
just
they
rolled this
like?
for the first time? I don't know.
Yeah. Do you like tie your shoes tighter? That happens in a game. Like all I'm relating is to football. Some of these guys, Patrick Mahomes,
Drug it up, pretty much.
I mean, yeah,
Pretty
they
much.
just get.
Okay, I'll ask you, because this is what I tell people before. I mean, obviously, this is the first time, but like, in terms of, do you think reflexes is the biggest part of not having ankle injuries? Because my thing when I would always explain to people is, I've landed in very terrible positions where hundreds of people have broken or sprained or whatever their ankle, but my reflexes are fast enough where you pull enough. And that's my explanation of like,
I never really thought about that, but you could be.
because a lot of people will twist, but some people just keep going and it just all their weight goes on it. Or like right when you feel that pain, you're fast, like your brain catches it and you pull, so it doesn't hurt. Because I've landed on like 4 balls in my career, like
Jumped and landed
like
on it.
on the ball fully.
And how
and
do
like
you react, like, to not twist your ankle?
I just pull and I just fall.
Wait, so you land? Wait, so you're about to
I
land
know
on it?
exactly. I'm with you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You land, and then like you're already in the position where you're gonna sprain it, but you feel it and you like pull fast enough. Like your reflexes are fast enough to pull. Because as a small blocker too, I'm flying, right? So a lot of times I'm flying into my middle, and I'll land on my middle like multiple times, but I think my reflexes are just fast enough where I pull, so I don't actually fully like roll it all the way.
A few really quick questions here. You're going to BYU.
Yes.
Nate, can you tell me how that process? Obviously, we went through a process. Another podcast that not
take this one
listed. Yeah.
I'm super stoked. I love.
But why BYU? How'd that happen?
I entered the transfer portal, and right when everything became legal, he hit me up, and like after playing at UH with 10,000 fans, it's like they're second in terms of fans, and they did pretty good this year, or last year. I think they ended up like 7th or 8th, and I just know a lot of people in Utah, and it's like because my grandpa coached at UH, and he actually ended up coaching at BYU after, like Taylor Sanders, like that was my grandpa was his coach in indoor, so I just kind of knew everyone there. Pretty much, it was just the connections were so clear for so many people that it was pretty obvious. Like I was gonna give other schools shots, but I didn't really want to waste. I was pretty much new.
Once you know, man. That's a really cool process. It's probably cool to go through it. I went through that process like 3 times because you went community college, you went Hawaii, and then you went BYU.
It's not a fun process, dude.
Not stressful.
It's like you got to contact this person and then this person and then this person. It's like okay, and then let this person know this, and it's like it's never fun, but.
Also, Troy promised to come out to a game.
I would love to watch any game, but especially this UH game. That'd be pretty dope.
Do you guys come back to UH?
We don't come to UH, but all the schedules aren't being officially announced. But it's a very high probability that BYU gets to play UH next year. So if that happens, it will probably be sold out for a really long time.
Good. I mean, yeah, BYU Hawaii has always had like a cool like rivalry too. Like they've always like sold out each other. It's been super, super sick. And then Troy, what's next for you? I know you got Manhattan coming up.
Before that, we got the Sixer.
Oh, the Sixer. Well, we got the Luau
Sorry. Most important.
We forgot about that.
by far. Then we have the Sixer. Then you have Manhattan. And then what happens after that?
So in between Manhattan and Chicago, I should notice. I think we have a week. Do we have a week break, or they're back-to-back weekends? But so yeah, the 6-man, Manhattan Beach, Chicago, and then there's 1 week break in between the league. And so kind of confusing because you don't know if you play that first, because you don't know if you make it in the league. So you could play that starting weekend, which is that second week of September. But I might play Laguna Open or this new Mimosa event. Don't have a partner, so if you want to play, let me know. But yeah, just kind of now here. I love Hawaii, and super excited to be here with you guys. The opportunity is awesome, and so I'm really excited for this. But get ready to play a lot of beach coming up. Yeah, I'm stoked.
Guys, make sure unfortunately we got to cut this podcast short here. Kids want to catch any of these two. Again, Keoni will be at BOU. Bad boy Troy here will be on the beach. Catch him anytime. And just remember, guys, if you can't handle the heat, goddamn kitchen. This has been another episode presented by the System.